Hey guys, Luke with Logical Lacrosse here, and for this video, this is part 3 of my 3-part series on the NCAA Lacrosse Week 2 review. So here we're going to go over the last few games I haven't covered, and also give you insight on what occurred at the D2, D3 level, and we're going to give those guys some love. So let's get started. So first game for this part, Quinnipiac at UMass Lowell. UMass Lowell just recently started a program a couple years ago. They did really well last year, had their best year ever. I believe it was 8-8 they finished, which was amazing for them. UMass Lowell defends the home turf to open the year. They win 12-10. Shots were in their favor, 41-23. Both teams had a ridiculous amount of turnovers. I've said that. A lot of teams had turnovers in my other two parts. 29 for Quinnipiac, 26 for UMass Lowell. Face-offs, Lowell won 16-10, and they also took the ground balls 34-27. But the turnovers on both teams was really egregious. That probably cost Quinnipiac the game, and that made the game probably a little closer than it should have been for UMass Lowell. Quinnipiac, of course, is going through some off-the-field stuff. I can't speak on it. I don't know much about it. But I hope that stuff gets resolved and no one's lives were ruined because of that. You know, all that. I hope it gets handled quickly if it hasn't been yet. But we'll get into the players of the game now. We'll start with Quinnipiac. Jake Tomsick, 3 goals, 2 assists. Matt Miller had a hat trick as well, so good job to those guys. 60% of the offense. And for UMass Lowell, I'm giving the honors to Harry Morrill, 3 goals, and Dominic Giacello with 2. So good job to UMass Lowell, and congrats on defending your home turf. So next game, history was made this Saturday. Utah, first-year program, got their butt kicked by Vermont to open the year, but they hosted Mercer this Saturday, and they got that first program won. They win 13-9 over Mercer. Shots were in their favor, 44-42. 24 turnovers for Mercer, terrible. 17 for Utah, still a lot. That's their second game ever. Face-off wins, both teams had 13. Ground balls, Utah won 34-31. Players of the game, Utah, Josh Stout. He was the best player last week, but oh my, he took it to a whole other level. 7 goals, 1 assist. That is insane. So great job to Josh Stout. And a new guy stepped up. Only 2 guys really stepped up. Perkins and Stout were the only memorable players last week. But Aaron Felstead had a hat trick as well. So congratulations to Aaron for making a mark with the offense. Defense obviously did well. They only allowed 9 goals. Mercer, players of the game. Pascal Coombs, again, he was my player of the game last week for them against North Carolina. He had 2 goals, 1 assist. And Michael Quinn, 2 goals, 1 assist. So Mercer's had a tough go with things, but congrats to Utah on your first win. They play at Hofstra next week, I believe, which will be a very tough one. Hofstra we'll get to a little later, but they had a very impressive win. So we're going to see how Stout handles what seems to be a very promising Hofstra D. Speaking of Hofstra, Hofstra upset, goes on the road to play at Lehigh, wins 4-3. You never see low-scoring games like this. And Lehigh was returning almost everyone on the offensive side. Like, wow. The fact they only put 3 goals in. Shots, 36-38. Lehigh had more. Turnovers, 19 for Hofstra, 18 for Lehigh. Lehigh caused 13 turnovers, so they caused a lot again. Hofstra only caused 9. Ground balls, Lehigh had the advantage, 36-25. But I don't know who they could get in. Really no offensive standouts, but the guys that did score, obviously, every goal counted in this game. Players of the game for both teams will be the goalies. We'll start with Hofstra's Robert Casey, 14 saves, .824% save rate. So great job. You were the reason your team won, Robert. And it's the same that Lehigh's goalie had to be on the losing end. I mean, when you only let in 4 goals, you should definitely win. But James Spence, 16 saves with a .800 percentage save rate. So Lehigh's going to have to bounce back. That was a terrible offensive showing for them. Hofstra Offense usually better than the D, so that's a little interesting. But the defense for both teams, very good job. And it looks like these teams are both going to be defensive teams. At least that's what we're seeing early. So next up, Providence at Holy Cross. Providence lost to Boston last week in a 1-goal game. Holy Cross, really been a down program for a long time. I feel bad for them. They struggled. Doesn't look like anything changed, at least in this game. 12-5, Providence takes it. Shots, 40 to 37 in favor of Providence. Turnovers, both teams had an egregious amount. 20 turnovers for Providence, 22 for Holy Cross. Ground balls, the Crusaders do take that, 34-26. The attendance, there was an attendance for this game, 176, so thank you to all those people that showed up to support Holy Cross or Providence or whoever if you just want to see the game. But thank you for showing up and growing the game. Hopefully we can get even more people. Hopefully Holy Cross gets a win soon and can bolster that number. But an interesting fact for those of you history buffs, this is Providence's 4th straight win over Holy Cross, so they've definitely dominated in the series as of late. But players of the game, we'll start with Providence. Nick Hadjipatrikos, 4 goals, and Brendan Kieran's 3 goals. Good job to both those guys. For Holy Cross, I've got Kevin Canisius, 1 goal, 1 assist, really the best offensive weapon for the Crusaders. So Holy Cross looks like it'll be tough sledding. Good rebound by Providence. So I'm cheering for both teams to definitely keep moving up in the rankings. Next up, one of the later games in the D1 slate, Canisius at Hobart. Hobart, historically, really good offense, not too good of a defense, but it didn't matter today. 21 goals for Hobart, 12 for Canisius. Hobart blew the gates open, 59 shots for them, 41 for the Griffs. Turnovers, 20 for Canisius, 15 for Hobart. Not very good, either team. Hobart takes the faceoffs, 23-14. Ground balls, they also take 37-22. Hobart's player of the game, this guy definitely earned it. He probably should be his conference player of the week as well. Eric Holden, 7 goals, 2 assists. Monster game by Holden. And the other player of the game given to Chris Aslanian. He had 5 goals, 2 assists. If it wasn't for Holden, we'd all be talking about Chris and how awesome his game was. For Canisius, I gave player of the game to Carter Stefaniak. Excuse me if you were watching Carter. But he had 2 goals, 1 assist. Really the best overall player for Canisius on the offensive side. So, good start for the year for Hobart. They struggled recently. Good offense, rough defense. Did give up 12 goals, so it'll be interesting to see if they can bring that down. Canisius just keep grinding. They're kind of a middle-tier program. I think they'll be fine moving on later in the year. So this Sunday D1 game is kind of the reason I gotta wait so long to post them after all the other games as I cover them all. But Bryant at Bucknell. Bucknell did a really good job against Maryland to open their year, so it was no surprise to see Bucknell take this game 9-6. Bryant is a very good team, though, so impressive home opener for Bucknell. Shots in their favor, 45-27. 27 turnovers for Bryant. That is absolutely pitiful. They're going to have to bring that down a lot. 18 for Bucknell, still too high, but at least it's not 27. Bucknell did force 12 turnovers, though, so give some lax to Bryant's offense and some more credit to Bucknell's D, because that's really good aggressive D. And on the ride, ground balls, pretty even. Bucknell won it 35-32. We'll get into the players of the game. We'll start with Bucknell. Will York, 5 goals. Very good game. I think he's number 99 as well, so it's kind of cool to see a high number like that. The other guy, Reed Malice, 2 goals, so he did well, good as well. And for Bryan, I'm giving it to Mark O'Rourke. He had a hat trick, so 50% of the goals for his team. But I think both teams are going to be really good. Bucknell has really impressed me so far. Bryant, they're always pretty good. They'll definitely be a threat to win it all in their conference. They'll be fine. They have an excellent coach. So if you're a Bryant fan, don't worry about this opening loss with the 27 turnovers. So guys, we'll get into our D2 matchups that occurred during this week. I'm going to start with the game that occurred first, and I'm going to just work down the list to the most recent game played. So we will start Chowan on the road at Coker. Got destroyed. Coker wins that 25-8. Colorado Mesa goes on the road to Maryville, wins 8-7. Indianapolis beats Wheeling Jesuit at home. Wheeling Jesuit was the home team. So guys, we'll get started into our... So guys, we will get started with our D2 scores. I will start with the game that occurred first, and we will end with the game that just ended. So we'll begin with Coker at home beats Chowan 25-8. Colorado Mesa on the road beats Maryland 8-7. Closer game than many expected. Indianapolis on the road at Wheeling Jesuit wins 19-8. Palm Beach Atlantic falls on the road to Young Harris 14-12. Notre Dame Demers and Embry-Riddle. I actually watched this game. It was kind of funny. There was a girl doing the stream. She did not know anyone. If you were watching the stream, you could hear her. She had no idea. She was talking about some dates she was going on and how she wanted to be an analyst for the CIA. So I hope that goes well for you if you are somehow watching this. But Embry-Riddle wins 18-9. They looked way better than Notre Dame Demers. Lincoln Memorial on the road beats Shorter 14-2. Good rebound from their close call against Barton last week. Alabama Huntsville on the road to St. Leo gets blown out 23-12. Seton Hill hosts Malloy, wins 18-4. Colorado Mesa goes on the road against Lindenwood. Lindenwood wins that one 16-10. Belmont Abbey, hosted by Catawba, 13-17. So Belmont Abbey takes that. Limestone blows out higher-ranked Lenore Ryan, 19-9. Mars Hill and Montevallo, no defense in this game. Montevallo takes it 24-18. North Greenville hosted Wingate. They lose 11-8 to Wingate. Lees McRae, hosted by Tusculum, who got blown out last week. And Tusculum blows them out, 23-8. Barn, second game ever against the second-year program, Newberry out of South Carolina. So Newberry takes this 20-14. So very good job by Newberry and Bryan. Good offense. Defense has got to improve, though. Start getting those wins. Notre Dame Demers played later in the week. Oh, they got hosted by Palm Beach Atlantic. It did not go well. 23-8 for Palm Beach. Alderson Brodus, hosted by Seton Hill. Seton Hill crushes them 21-6. Wheeling Jesuit then hosts Maryville. Maryville won 24-14. What a dominating performance. Coker hosted Florida Tech later in the weekend after beating Chowan, and they lose 10-7. So tough road win for Florida Tech. And this game just recently ended. This is kind of why I've had to wait to film this video. But Young Harris on the road beats Embry-Riddle 15-10. So that'll do it for the D2 games this week, and we will move on to the Division 3 games. So guys, we are going to do the D3 games now. I'm going to be reading off the scores to you guys, and we will start with the games that occurred first this Saturday and move on to the game that occurred this Sunday. So we'll start. Birmingham Southern played Brevard. Birmingham Southern takes that one 21-5. Hendricks, another blowout, this time over Dallas. They won 25-7. Hampton-Sydney wins over Mary Washington 14-7. York and Washington Lee, probably the best D3 game this weekend. York takes it 7-6. Lynchburg and Salisbury. Whoa, I didn't actually see this at first. Salisbury, another close game. So what is up with Salisbury? They beat Lynchburg 11-9. They've had some close games, both 2-goal games. That's a little worrisome if you're a Salisbury fan. But Randolph Macomb played Methodist. They win 11-4. Pfeiffer played Emmanuel. Pfeiffer wins that 14-9. And Southwestern hosted Huntington. Southwestern wins it 20-11. So there's some pretty high-scoring games. Some defense struggled. This Sunday, the final game for the Division 3 slate, St. Mary's out of Maryland hosted Marywood. St. Mary's takes that one easily, 17-5. So some pretty good D3 matchups. Lynchburg and Salisbury and York and Washington and Lee were the best. Salisbury a little worrisome. York will be good again. So definitely some good storylines to follow later throughout the year for the D3 slate. So guys, that will do it for the final part of my Week 2 lacrosse review. Now, if you are wondering, saying that I missed the Denver Air Force game, you were right. I did that on purpose. That is my special feature game where it gets its own mini episode. That's kind of the game I picked for Game of the Week. One, because Denver is definitely one of the top contenders to win it all. And two, I coached the Air Force, so it's kind of, I wanted to go support them. So that's why I didn't see a lot of the games, because I was up in Denver watching that. It was a great festivity, so I'll have more insight on that on a separate video. So I promise I didn't forget that. But in the meantime, I hope you guys really liked this review for Week 2. I hope you got some good insight into all the games, or at least whatever game you are interested in. If you could, please leave a like and subscribe so we can keep growing this up, growing the channel, helping spread my love of the game and knowledge, and help other people learn and know what's up in the college lacrosse world. In the meantime, you can follow me at Twitter, Instagram, the same name, at logical_lacrosse. And if you want more content like this, I also have a website at www.logicallacrosse.com. So it'd be awesome if you could check that out as well. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.